What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the current delistings that have been happening over the past couple of days that I've been able to witness but haven't been able to have a good chat about them. So without further ado, let's get straight into it and talk about Port Adelaide's delistings for 2021 and what that holds for the draft coming up on November 24th and 25th. So let's get straight into it and talk about the delistings. Also going to talk about Peter Ladhams today as well, since he has left the club in the the trade period that just finished up last week. And I wanted to talk about the impact that that's going to have for a couple of players on our list that we currently have. So plenty to talk about, even though it is the off-season. A lot has been dying down since. It was a very, very boring trade period, and that's probably due to the fact there wasn't any massive deals going on. There was a lot of early deals that happened quite early on in the trade period, and we had a couple of days where there was trades every couple of hours, and it was thought like, oh my God, this is a trade period. Normally all of them come to the last day on deadline day, and look, we did have 5 trades in the end overall in the AFL. I think it was 20 total that moved, 14 trades and about 6 free agency players that went around. So 20 players in a trade period over 9 days. It does accumulate to about 2 per day. It was quite boring, especially the leading up to it. A lot of speculation, a lot of rumours, a lot of articles that were written and subject to false or true accusations. In the end, Port Adelaide's deals got done, and they were kind of expected. Jeremy Finlayson, as we know, got that deal done with a future third-round pick going to GWS. So that was pretty much replaced with the Ladhams pick. We've sent off Peter Ladhams and a future third and pick 16 to Sydney, where we're getting a pick 12 and a future third back. So basically getting Peter Ladhams for a future third, getting Finlayson and a future. So basically we've upheld our end of the deal. We've been able to improve our draft selection, going up from pick 16 to pick 12. And I'll dive into that a little bit closer to the draft period, where we're able to see exactly who's going to be available at pick 12. But talking about the delistings, now this is something that's a very hard job to do at the end of the year. You're going to be talking to players and telling them, unfortunately, we're not going to have a contract for you next year. You're going to have to find a new home or find another way around for your footy career. And these blokes, unfortunately, have left. We know of Hamish Hartlett, which was a very sad and a very heartbreaking delisting, and he's on his way possibly into local football, I'd think, or to Crosstown Royal Adelaide, which if I saw that, I'd be very, very, I'd be very mad. Joel Garner was another one, as we know, left quite early on after the season ended, and that's such a shame as well, because he had a lot of talent and a lot of talent to burn, I think, and just didn't get an opportunity with our star-studded and very full backline list. So he's unfortunate. Trent Burgoyne was the latest one that happened just yesterday. And it's such a shame, because I really want to see a Burgoyne come into Port Adelaide again and really dominate. And this could have been a Peter and a Sean vibe, with Jace Burgoyne on the horizon, possibly getting selected as a father-son pick if he does indeed nominate for father-son selection at Port Adelaide. So that is such a shame for Trent. But I'm sure, no doubt, he will go back and find another opportunity, and hopefully we might see him around the joint. Jared Lena is a sad delisting. I felt he had a lot of trouble getting into the side, but he had a lot of talent. He was a utility. He was a great user of the football and read the play really well. And I really thought that he would have made a positive impact. But when you've got the likes of Aliir, Tom Cleary, and Trent McKenzie and Tom Jonas, and that back line really settling in, maybe he could have played on a wing or could have been utilised around the ground. But I just felt it just wasn't really finding a place and could really fit in with unless there was an injury. And he did make an impact in the season at some stages during the year, but unfortunately couldn't hold his spot due to the talent coming back in. I think that will be a similar story going into the next few years as well, and that's unfortunate for Lena. And I hope he does get picked up around the joint, because I think a couple of clubs could use him quite well. If not, he does have a career in commentary. I've heard his commentary work around on Twitter and everything that he's been doing. So look out for him around the place in the commentary business. Something similar to what Hamish Hart, I reckon, could do if he doesn't get another playing opportunity. And Boyd Woodcock was the other one that did get delisted. He's been probably the one out of the lot that's been getting regular opportunities over the last couple of years. And he did make an impact in certain stages, but it just felt like he was never really going to be anything more than that emergency and that pick that's going to happen if there's an injury. And he was a small forward, but didn't really do too much damage as a small forward. Made his debut in 2020, and I don't think he kicked any more than a goal or two per game as his highest in a game. So he was a very good player for the Magpies, but unfortunately we won't see him around the place anymore, and I don't think he'll get picked up. So I think you'll see him back in the SANFL or something like that. So all of these combining, I think they're not massive losses. I think they do damage the depth a little bit, but in saying that, you get opportunities for other players. Jackson Mead's going to make an impact next year. Taj Schofield's going to have a massive impact, and Tom Cleary is obviously going to be a regular in that defence. So Jared Leonard's possibly not going to break in, after him. And these other players, Joel Garner and Hamish Hartlett probably are a little bit of a, they're a sad shame, because I really felt like they could have made an opportunity. But, Boyd Woodcock, Trent Burgoyne never made massive impacts. And as tough as it sounds, it when that doesn't happen in your first couple of years, you're kind of really not going to be able to do much more after that. So it's unfortunate for them, and I do wish them well. Sam Mays was another one. He did get delisted, but he will be repicked in the rookie draft as a rookie selection. So he'll be on the list as a rookie, which means he'll probably make a big impact in the SANFL and be available for a pick, as a med sub or as as an emergency. And I think he's been very good at doing that and could make an impact again next year. But time will tell on that one. There is one more player that we do need to talk about. We did recently sign Robbie Gray. And Stephen Motlop has not yet signed a contract. Deadline day is October 31. I think he'll get a 1-year deal for that one. And if he doesn't make a big impact next year, could possibly be on the look for somewhere else or ending his career. So last gasp, I think, for Stephen Motlop next year, which is very interesting considering I think he had quite a very good first half of the year, but then faded away and didn't make much impact after that with a couple of niggling injuries and that. So it'd be interesting to see. Just on the Pete Laddams thing as well, Sam Hayes will make an impact next year. Chris Davies has come out and said that it's time for Sam Hayes to take that ruck spot. It's going to be number one. I think him and Lysette will do a very good job, and I wouldn't be surprised if Hayes pushes out Lysette, even though Lysette's probably in his prime rucking at the moment. Hayes, we know, won the A.R. McLean medalist, the Magpies best and fairest, and I think he'll make an impact next year. So there's a lot of talent within the list. And the best part about it is Chris Davies has come out and said, we're looking for improvement within. And if you can get that, that's what builds a club. That's what you don't keep continuing. We've done it for 4 years now. We've brought players in. We've tried to top up our list and try and, get ready, prime for what we are at the moment. We made 2 prelim finals. We're finished in the top 2 years in a row. We're really making an impact in that zone, but we're just not quite making the big impact, which is winning a grand final, making a grand final, being that team that everyone goes, oh shit, we're playing Port Adelaide this week. We've got to make that step. There is a lot to do to improve next year. You're not just going to win a prelim, make a grand final, and that's what it is. Now you need improvement from within before bringing in extra improvement. There's going to be a lot of changes around the club, and I really feel like that there is opportunities there. Sam Powell-Pepper, prime example, has been given the notification. It's time for you to stand up. How you come back for pre-season will make the best opportunity possible for you in the midfield. And if you want to do that, then no doubt I'll see him staying at Port Adelaide. But if he doesn't make an impact, he'll end up like Peter Laddams, wanting an opportunity, but unfortunately couldn't do that at Port Adelaide, so he'll get sent off. And it sucks that that's the business we're in. And that's what we've got to take on board. And it'll be for the players that come in through the draft. It'll be anyone else we pick up in the rookie draft, a delisted free agent, anything. There's 6 spots that we've just lost on the list. Well, 7 if you include Tom Rockcliffe and or even Tyson Goldsack. So 8 spots available there. 7 with Sam Mays getting a rookie draft again. But you've got 5 selections in the draft, and that's pick 12, 63, 72, 73, and 92. And that's going to be an opportunity for maybe a couple of players, and definitely those picks will be used as points in case we do select Jace Burgoyne as a father-son, or we look at going somewhere else and maybe picking up a Nasiah Wanganeen Malira. So plenty of options for Port Adelaide. It's exciting because, we look at that the season as a whole and you really want to improve on our list, maybe bringing in an extra midfielder. But in saying that, you can build that from within. If you have Pau Pepper, who's an exploding out-of-the-pack midfielder, and then maybe get a Zach Butters more time in the midfield. We know how good he was, but he just never had the opportunity. There's players from within that can take what we need and take it to the next step. Whether or not it happens, wait to be seen. But I think the club's relatively got it right across the last 4 or 5 years in terms of recruiting. And I back them in once again. So I look forward to seeing what we pick in the draft. The draft is on November 24th and 25th. And I really look forward to seeing what we can pick up. Well, Port fans, that has been a little bit of a background check on what's been happening over the last couple of days with delistings and also what to look forward to into the draft. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content that'll come your way towards the draft. We are on our back end of the race towards starting the 2022 pre-season. I look forward to bringing you more content until the very end of that. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, Can't le pair.